Mr. Highlight Ewell!
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it.
I had to switch up the flow, show you the way that it go. God is good, but his life is hard. But it gets better when you grind it smart. I'm just really trying to leave a mark. We tired of being who they say we are. That's the baton, we gon' take it far.
Always been real, we don't fake it all.
Tired of 9 to 5, just make enough to survive. Only living on the weekends. You really thinking that's why I'm alive? Busting out the scenes, time to live my dreams, do the things deep inside of me. This life it continues with fighting me, but I don't have quitting inside of me. I will not jump in these boxes they throwing me. Talking to God and there's so much he's showing me.
What is up, brother? This is in the booth fight corner. We're back after a long hiatus, and I'm here with my brother Andre Ewell. How are you doing?
Pretty well.
You're turning into a little bit like my travel buddy right now. We met in
Facts.
Anaheim? Was it? Where was the show at?
Oh no, that was. Yeah, we'll say Los Angeles. That was in Los.
Well,
Los
LA was the
Angeles.
second
LA.
time. That was the.
Oh, we talked about the
David's meet and
second
greet.
time. I felt
The
that was
second time
LA
was
too.
LA.
I think both of them
Well,
was.
the other one wasn't. Oh wow, whatever. We were
Yeah.
to California. I thought there was like 2 locations in California, and now somehow we linked up in Vegas, where I'm at now. So, my
Yeah,
last week.
true.
So, and you're coming off of a crazy 17-second
See,
victory on bare knuckle BYB.
hey, they're robbing me. It was 7 seconds.
The 7?
Oh yeah, at least my last punch was 7.
Oh yeah.
So, and they had to do a 10 count, but it was one of those situations.
Oh,
where
like that.
It's like, all right, you can give out the 17,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
everybody knows it's 7.
Yeah.
But hey, nothing but points to my opponent. So he gets credibility for jumping up in there. So thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, but definitely had fun with that little crazy fight.
It was a long wait, like this transition to to bare knuckle. Like I remember when we spoke, you were kind of like you knew you wanted to do bare knuckle, you didn't know where you were gonna end up, right? And but you had the Up Next Fighting MMA fight too, and just like, how do you feel now that you sort of had that experience again, like that bare knuckle or that first bare knuckle experience?
Yeah. Basically, me keeping 100, I actually have it was really fun. The experience was there for me. I feel like that triangle is actually meant for me and my style, because I am the type that likes to get a little violent, real violent, and able to end up throwing my hands. And especially like in that type of range, there's no way you can run or move. It's like forcing you to honestly get down. And growing up, that was basically what I ended up doing. That's why street fights was life.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Yeah. So talk to me a bit about that upbringing. Let's go back. Let's go all the way back. I guess.
See, so we were gonna drop in. All right.
Yeah.
He said, just jump out the airplane. Like,
We're gonna start.
I'm okay with that. I end up liking it. Like, it was tough.
Mhm.
Moved around a lot. Like, literally, I was all basically moving around a lot in California. Let's go and say that.
Yeah.
From Texas, back to Cali, back to Texas, and back to Cali. But I was always the new kid. Every time that we moved back, it was a new spot. Every time that we moved out there, it was a new spot.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fighting. And my pops taught me how to fight, or was taking me into little camps and stuff like that to hey, be prepared, or be prepared. You got
Yeah.
prep yourself, as you don't know what's gonna end up happening. And his favorite line was, "Son, you're light skinned." And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Okay, yeah.
He was like, yeah, you just, basically, in other words, now I got it. It's like, you just don't fit in at the time. No matter where you go, you're not going to fit in, and they're going to end up picking on you. And my pops, he looks 100% like Mike Tyson, I promise you, at the time. So I was thinking my dad's Mike Tyson telling me this shit, right? So, but yeah, he's breaking it down. My pops was very tough. When he's there, wasn't there, he was tough. So my growing up was, I have to make sure I had to do everything. I had to know how to fight. I had to be great at this. I had to be great at that, no matter what. And if I get stuck with the world, I know what I'm basically capable of and how I'm able to get out, So my life was me fighting, and look at me now. Something I picked up is me fighting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, the first time I spoke to you, it was obvious that you're just I'm itching to fight. This is I want to do this. I just want to throw hands. And even like MMA, it felt like to me like maybe you weren't even keen on MMA anymore. You're like, I just want to throw hands. I don't want to.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, so it was always like encouraged, right, to fight. Like, would anyone ever try to like, or maybe your family, your close ones, ever try to like step in, to stop a fight, or was it more like you got to deal with your own business, like that's it?
No, one is do our own business, but at the same time, or not do our own business, they'll allow us to do our own business. As in, hey, if it's a one-on-one, hey, do your thing, you know. But 9 times out of 10, it's like one of those things like my brother will probably hit the person or my cousin will hit the person before I even have the chance to type of idea. Because I'm like very calm. I don't talk. I don't run my mouth like that. And if you do see me run my mouth, that person really made me mad. And it has to be to the moment of you involved something else and I can't get my hands on you, so I have to start talking. But that's like if you're on the other side of the world. But if we're like front of each other, no, there's no conversation. It's just gonna be me putting my hands on you, and then that'll be like the end of the day. And so in reality, my family won't even know what's going on. They'll just know that Andre's swinging, so we got to swing. You know, like I end up having like fun stories, like a lot, like and it's just like how our family is. It's like me, my brother, my cousin went to Fullerton up in out here, right? Yeah. It was this is a while ago story, but it was one of those stories where my brother was like in line. Trying to get instructions, or not instruction, but directions to a certain place, right? And one of the guys wanted to give him the story, but then there was the other guy, like, I think he caught his girl cheating, or his girl was basically messing with somebody else in the club or something like that. So he's mad. He's 100% hot. He's pissed off, right? And my brother goes and asks, like, hey, you know, do you have any, you know, or where are we at, or whatever the case is. Oh, don't talk to me. And okay, he starts talking to the cool guy. The cool guy's like, oh yeah, this is gonna do it. Boy bots in like, didn't I say don't talk about it? Next you know it, because I'm over here in the car about a good 30 yards away. I'm looking at it. I said, okay, he's getting ready to fight. Back of my head is there's something getting ready to happen, so it's like making me stay to look. And my cousin's sitting in the car. Next you know it, but I start swinging. Boom, I run over there. You know, my cousin runs, and then next you know, we're all like, it's like a rumble in the park and everything, and then stuff like that. But again, it's like, we're in a calm situation, and then next you know it, it's a fight. Like, you know, you never know when we're going to fight, so no one can really break it up. It's
Pops
just
out when nobody expects it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a good story, and they finally like broke it up, and it got like more hectic and stuff like that. And like, oh, you know, like my brother ended up like saving one of the girls or something like that, and then
Superman.
He's like he saved her, like Captain Savo, like, you know. But he ends up doing it, and then like the girl. Like, oh, yeah, thank you. And I think it was actually the girlfriend that got cheated on, or was cheating on the dude. And so he ends up trying to save it. And then that ended up becoming like an awkward situation where it was like, I was helping you. And he was like, no, he started it all, da-da-da-da. My brother was like, what the hell you talking about, bitch? Da-da-da-da-da. He's, you know, and it was like a perfect line kicks in where he goes and says, bitch, I'm a black king, right? It was one of those moments where it was like, you know, all right, yeah, you're right. All right, we're going to leave. Like, you know, but it was just like that. But like majority of like growing up, like I stated, I get into rumbles and stuff like that, or fights and awkward moments. And I have like so many awkward stories that like come out like that, even funnier ones, you know?
Yeah. So I guess you can't recall like what was your favorite fight story from then, you know?
Oh yeah. Definitely got one. Like if you're gonna give me the mic to talk on that one, I'll tell you. Look, I said I could give you stories. I got stories.
Well, if
man.
it's too long, we'll keep it. Like when, but this is all before you were training, was it?
Oh yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I was training since the age of 7. I'm 34.
Oh, you were, yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, you said you had the karate background.
Yeah. You know, so the taekwondo.
Why is it like taekwondo and karate is always like that's what kids do always. Like, why is it like? Because I started in taekwondo too.
I feel like it's more for the mindset, discipline.
Maybe,
structure.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say structure. It's structure on like certain things of life, how to move things, you know, stuff like that. Because like one of the key things is I always say, or one thing I say, and I know a lot of instructors always jump up on, and they say is basics. Like you end up learning like how to pick up a spoon. Like, you know, you got to keep practicing it. You know how to use it. Like it's like one of those things. So. It's structured with karate / taekwondo, and it's like mine was a taekwondo. Granted that they're branched with like the same tree, what type of ordeal, you know, but it like floated into that. Then it got into wrestling, and then wrestling into boxing, and then hey, I'm out here doing what I do best.
Yeah, there we go, and that's the roots. And then So we'll skip over a couple of parts. Where like what how did you get into the UFC first of all?
All right, so that one's a little deep. So on that deep side of the story, what got me into the UFC, I was in court, and so this is after all my like awkward moments of trying to end my life and all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is middle. How you doing, brother?
So
yeah,
there was a whole let's say the dark side, like the dark phases of your life and stuff like that you were going through before UFC.
yeah,
Is
definitely.
it? Yeah. And how? So okay, continue. Like how did that play into the UFC story, kind of?
Okay, so into that like first boxing, that was like the goal. That's what I wanted to do. Hey,
Yeah.
big fan of Roy Jones and the whole thing, It ended up shifting where the career wasn't going good because practicing where I was at, it's about selling tickets. It's about, knowing the right people. That's just how it was. It's just how it is, So it's kind of like still boxing, but I had my boy, my first child, went into the whole situation of my boy getting taken away from me and me going to court, basically almost every month or every other month or however they push it. I was in court. I was back and forth with court. So the whole goal was trying to get there. I got into this, my little dark side where I kind of wanted to end it and stuff like that. Not try or kind of. I actually tried to, failed clearly. So so it ended up. I was, my deep depressions ended up feeling weak now. Like I'm starting to gather myself, and I went into court, and the judge looked at me with no value. And when it ended up looking at me like that, that was like one of those things that like stung me, and it sat with me. And then I was like, all right, I got to do something. I got to figure something out that I'm good at and show this guy that I am worth something. I was working a tower job. Cell phone tower jobs where I climb things,
Okay,
switching things. Yeah,
physical labor.
Yeah, and I didn't like the job. It's like it was one of those things. I know jobs were not made for me, but it's like, all right, it is what it is. But I'd end up figuring it out. And one thing that I did know is I could fight. When I say I was in so many street fights, I was in competitions. I was good. I was really good. I was like that guy that's awkwardly strong. I was that guy that actually had range and reach and speed and had broke down the IQ of the whole striking part of things and people that try to take me down. Like I said, when I say I have stories, I have funny stories where majority of all my fights were guys are a lot time bigger than me,
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So it floats into those like directions where I go to the gym, This is after I quit my job too. So I go there. My best friend was my boss, and I was like, hey, am I worth this amount? And he was like, no. As soon as he said no, I said, you're right, and I quit. I was like, I quit. Yeah. And then, I left and went to the gym and said, hey. And matter of fact, the coach that you just ended up seeing, named Sam, I ended up telling him, like, I'm going to be in the UFC in 2 years. And he, he believed it because it's the fact is that's what he's supposed to, but everybody else around him didn't. And it was one of those, nah, you just talking whatever, brush me off. It's like, all right, everybody else brush me off. It's nothing, and especially when it came down to me trying to sell tickets and everything, no one wanted to go. And it's like, all right, cool. And then next you know it, 2 years later, because I said I would be in the UFC in 2 years. Fact, 2 years later, I was in the UFC, walking down the whole aisle in Brazil, ready to fit there and fight Hidden Brow. One of the pound for pound guys, God damn. Yeah.
Within the 2 year mark. Basically. yeah. That's pretty crazy. And so what do you think it is that made you and your coach be the only ones that kind of believed it? You say in the gym, like
it's the work.
Because often it's like a work ethic thing. Like
it's definitely
will doubt people because they're like, oh, they don't work enough or they partying too much or they
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was like they end up seeing like I was putting on the work ethic. I was there. I was at the gym. I was a grinder. Like if no matter how you end up looking, I didn't have much, and it's the people that did follow me that kind of helped and push the situation. Like my brother. Like my brother, a very big supporter. He was there. He was there before all this. We were training together before all this, and we did things as a team. So it was one of those things we ended up doing, and not only my brother, it was my cousin and my pops. My cousin was there from the gate. My pops, pushing.
So it felt like that Rocky scene, and they're all running through the streets. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then people started to jumping on because I knock one person out and it's what they say. Oh, that's cool. You get an extra 10 likes on my post on Instagram. Yeah. All right, then I knock out somebody else. Oh, Dre's pretty good, but no, I might be a little fluke. They wait for that third one. I knock that person out. It's like, all right, Dre's actually got something. Let's start going to his fights. And then next you know it, I'm starting to build up a fan base, and now I'm the guy that basically got out. Like, we're front raising. A lot of us is like, they died, and some of them went to jail. And these are people that I went to school with and stuff like that. It ends up coming to that moment where I made it, and they're like, "Oh, Dre made it out," and it's like I'm still there. And when I say still there, meaning I'm there, to hold the conversation, talk to, the whole nine. Yeah. But I do get what they're saying. Like, Dre made it. Like, we're out of that statistic of people that's supposed to be dead or in jail. I'm on the other hand.
Okay, yeah, that. And also on the statistic of, like, professional fighters, actually, because you end up in the biggest organization in the world still and having a job during the pandemic still. True.
That is true.
I remember, yeah. So what resonates with me most is, like, your fights during the pandemic, too. It was like those fights I remember. Maybe it was like one of the early cards, one of the first cards when there was no crowd. It was at the Apex and stuff. But I was like, at some point I was like, dude, I like this a lot because you could hear all the strikes and everything. I remember one of your fights was like crazy there. Like is you could hear every little punch land, and it's all like high volume and stuff like that, and it's exciting, So that's why I was like surprised when you got cut. Because you also still had fights on your contract, right?
Yeah, definitely still have fights, And I know they're gonna end up honoring it, like, in the future. I know I'm gonna get back whenever the hell I want. Like, I just got to be busy. I got to end up showing that I'm healthier and mindset is strong. Just factors in, like I said, speaking on this like a lot, like 2021, it was like a downfall for me, and it's outside of the cage, not just in the cage. It was stuff that was all there, kind of like basically fucked my head up, like. And it led me into getting like a whole mini stroke type of ordeal, And
so we go. So when you got cut, like what do they say? Like what do they tell you? Like what? Because
it's a letter.
Yeah, it's a letter.
It's a letter of saying
no explanation. There's no
like ain't no real explanation. Just saying, hey, we're just gonna let you know. We kind of have to let you go. Best of luck in the future and wherever else you land.
It's like the standard thing they send everyone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Just you get nothing special, no extra medal, or hey, I know we owe you 2 more fights and we're gonna pay you out, or whatever the case.
Yeah, which is shocking because
but not too shocking because everybody's complaining. You gotta sit there and think about it. Like, personally, it's like I end up understanding. Like me, the way I look at it is like, oh, you guys cut me because basically I'm in like a dark place right now. Like,
Yes.
And I can end up expanding on different things of the situation, but me keeping it civil, it's like, you seeing that my value is dropping, and it's kind of like, do we keep or not? And you chose, hey, let's go with fresher shit. But now it's like the whole goal right now, and that's the team that I'm with. It's, hey, let's revamp everything, and this is the reason why I'm in the whole bare knuckle, as in, let me get there to revamp my basically my dragon or my inner beast. They call me with bare knuckle Dragon Fist Ewell. You feel me?
Yeah, so, that's a new rebrand.
Yeah, so it's there. So it's the inner beast back out.
Because a lot of the times is what, like, when you read like someone got cut and everything, like there's never an explanation to it, and a lot of the time people will just assume it's either a losing streak or it's like a decline, or nobody ever considers that there's so many things that can be happening in the background, that affect it, and. It's difficult to talk about sometimes because it's also like, because you also don't want to incriminate or like, what is it, like throw some people under the bus and like talk bad about an organization, but you still want to defend yourself, like. So I was also like, I don't know how much we want to get into it, and
see, and that's why I said it's like that wavering point of like, like how you stated, like I don't want to like put no one down or make them feel or hey this or that, like like when I ended up saying, well, I had like this little pinched nerve going on. Yeah, because of all stress, and this is me kind of like digging into it a little bit. Yeah, I had like this like awkward pinched nerve, and it was like a week before my fight. They were telling me like in a way like, hey Dre, it was a week before my last fight with the UFC. They were kind of telling me like, hey Dre, like right now it's like bad. It's to the moment of like you're gonna have to either take a cortisone shot to fix the situation, and only it was like one of those I could have took that, but there was that chance as in they weren't gonna let me fight. And it's like, it's cortisone steroids, and we don't, USADA, you're going to fail if they test you. So, and, I ended up asking them, like, hey, is it, like, cool with them? And they were like, be honest, I don't know. You just got to ask. And I already know it was that other moment. If I ended up asking, they'll know that something's wrong. Yeah. And then that will come down as in we got to pull them. And
Snitch
I'm
on
the type,
yourself, like-
yeah, it's like, oh, how do they know? And then Andre wants the extra route, and it's never like that, you know. And to top that off, you know, and I ended up feeling like I was like better. I knew I was better. I'm better than the guy, just that he got the outcome and he won that. But just ended up
Is that
becoming
like
like
mentally playing in your head too, like during the fight or something? Like, you know, can you switch that off, or do you think like if I go to, did you feel in your element? You know, like.
No, yeah, I end up saying it's like you can able to switch it off, and which I ended up doing. It was against Jordan, you know, when the guy that sparred kicked the shit out of me, but I came back. I'm back down on earth. I landed, you know. Hey, but which no one ended up adding that I broke his nose with my teep kick. It's just his a little bit a lot
Cue
better.
the clip here. The clip
You
is
know,
in here.
yeah, you know, like I got boosted out of my seat. You feel me? But I broke his nose with my teep kick. But everybody ignores that. But anyways. The first round, it was one of those situations like get him out so we don't have to worry about it. Because, you know, like I said, it's like I had like a pinched nerve where one side of my side would just go numb, the whole nine. Yeah, you know.
I think if it went longer, that could happen. Like,
Yeah, you know. And so I'm thinking, let me try to hurry up and finish finish in the first round. And then people end up looking at it. It looked like I could have. You know, I was on his ass. I was on him. I was on his bumper. I'm winning. You know, and it's like it got to this moment I knew I heard him, and then people in the background, like even like Cup Swanson, like, yeah, you know, like, bro, we thought you were about to finish him up in the first round. I was like, yeah, you know. And then the second round, it kind of like did a counter, you know. You ended up seeing that I'm not me no more. It's like it's not that, like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like I guess I either wasted my whole tank in the first round or everything finally caught up to me.
Adrenaline dump.
Yeah, there it is, you know. So. But like I stated, they are on the fighters then pulling me in the way, and then I'm taking the fight still, and I'm trying to finish it in the first round, and then next you know it, it's a drift off, and there you go, you know.
That's a paycheck. I mean, still, like, that's, at the end of the day, like that's what people are still like. That's the main thing, I guess, like people think about when they're thinking of pulling out of a fight. It's like, but I'm not gonna get paid. I'm not gonna get my show money.
Yeah, but no, I did all that, and plus, you know, I had my family, and at the same time, this is recently me getting dumped and shit. So, so you know, so that's on my head, and it's like I'm fucking stressing, dude. I'm like, man, you know, like, all right, I gotta figure it out.
Always comes at the wrong moment,
wrong time, wrong place, and then people stop following me. People stop, like, you know, it's like one of those things. Like it was a dramatic, awkward change. Like everybody that was messing with me, not messing with me no more. And it was like, okay, like I end up seeing you.
Like, you know who those are, yeah? So that's it. You keep tabs on these people at some point because it's you feel it. Like when it's the people close to you, you feel it. You know, like that's the thing.
That's true. And I have one message to them. It's like, hey, again, you know, I apologize for all the people that gave up on me in 2021. Y'all can still suck it. That's just sitting there saying DX style.
Send like a little, like put that clip out actually.
Right there.
You.
Yeah,
you can have that.
And mean it. Like, you know, it don't make no sense.
I hear this a lot, like, because I also edit other podcasts of fighters who have podcasts and stuff like that, and they always say, like, after this is after retirement, and you're not retired, you know, but where like they lose their sense of purpose, and it's like because you've focused everything and all your energy and like you're training every day and you're thinking about it every day and everything, so you lose your identity, kind of like it gets lost in the. As a fighter instead, and it's difficult for people to program their brain while fighting to also see themselves as like the whole. Like I have so many other things to offer, and I'm a father, and I'm a brother, and I have these skills and those skills, you know. So, and then I can imagine like that's when you feel like your soul probably like gets killed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like, you know, it's like you said. I will say we get lost in the sauce. Like you end up making so much stuff, and then it's like you taste it. It's like either good, this is what you did.
And it's the most successful version of you, basically.
There it is, like, you know. Yeah. And like I said, I had to end up learning that part like the hard way when I did get lost and figured out that I got lost. I'm just happy that this year I figured it out. Yeah. You know, because the part that I ended up getting lost at, it was the fact is that my first son, they ended up taking my rights, and I just didn't click it together. Yeah. You know, and I was having an up and down type of career, and then I got cut, and then now, and I ended up taking a fight and I lost, and it's like, okay. I wanted to basically I had that little one-on-one conversation with myself, or we'll say that conversation with my sauce. What did I end up putting in here? What was not good? What was not, you know, what shouldn't fit? Like, okay, I shouldn't have put salt on there, or you know, let me take that out the next time that I end up making this bad. All right, instead of kale leaves, I should have ended up using regular leaves. Let's go ahead and move this, you know, and not go ahead and add that. So And this is me counseling and cutting things off, like, you know, like my drama and the problems, like I said, I got dumped type of ordeal. I had to cut that, you know. I had to figure out, like, you know, since I'm getting kicked, or I got kicked out of my son's life, and, you know, I got to wait for that moment where he decides to come see me, you know. And now it's like, what else am I fighting for? It's the brightest, the brightest thing that ever happened is my boy looking straight at me, and there's my answer. It's like he was there my whole time, and I was basically done at just trying to be a good father, but not knowing I could still be a good father and a person that still fights for what, you know, what he wants type of deal, you know. So it's just like that. So I just kind of like redirected everything where me being a great father is sacrificing what I have to end up doing to automatically provide what needs to be done to make sure my son has a beautiful life, like, you know, because it's like cool that I get to take him with me to the gyms. He gets to see that. He gets to see dad working for things and knowing when he gets to this age, he's going to realize, oh, he was doing all this for me, like, you know, and it's like he's doing this for me and he was doing it for his, you know, my older brother type of deal. So that's like the whole argument and what we're like aiming for, what I am aiming for, and what am I doing right now.
Yeah. What's crazy is the mind's a powerful thing, because it sounds like these are all like just mental shifts you made.
Oh yeah,
like just cognitive shifts, and it's like you didn't even change anything physically, I guess. Like, well, maybe like different kinds of sessions, but it's more like, how do I reprogram my brain to think about certain situations in a different light or from a different perspective that I wasn't used to before because I was too caught up.
Yeah, definitely.
Just going like 100 miles an hour. What is it? 1,000 miles. What's a lot of miles? Because like we have a different system. We have a different system in Europe.
yeah. Going at 100 miles per hour.
100 miles an hour per hour is good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that's the whole like mental health argument, I guess, of it. Is like once you're in like this dark place and stuff like that, it's like what helped you most in like sort of compartmentalizing those things and seeing them as separate entities for the first time, and seeing like, this is one element of my life that I need to change, and this is something that needs to change, and this needs to stay, you know what I mean? Like the way you were describing it was like suddenly you saw it not as one thing but as in pieces, and you can like you know, compartmentalize it.
Yeah, there you go. And then, you know, put it like this, we'll do this. It is one piece, but, you know, it's like when you put in like a puzzle together and just picture like you have 1,000 pieces, you know, you're trying to figure it out. So it's like, oh yeah, this goes, and then it's like, nah, you're forcing that piece right there, move that piece. You know, oh, okay, this one fits because it actually goes. Because, you know, let's be real, we have people that do puzzles, they try to force pieces growing up sometimes. Like, nah, this is gonna go, like, you know, but it doesn't, like, you know, it ain't the right one, it doesn't go there, you know. So but yeah, it's just, you know, putting things together, and that's what ended up happening. Granted that it took me to jump out of a plane to understand this, you know.
It's a crazy story.
You know, it's like, so granted, like, you know, like I had my little mini like stroke episode type of deal, right? And normally I'll like brush things off and call it is what it is. Oh, you know, whatever, you know, move on like nothing happened. Probably still would have been stressing, but this happened in front of my child, and that's where all the pieces. I didn't know that. Yeah, so this is where that piece is where, oh, I got to start moving these things, like to automatically get things. Because, like, you know, there was something I couldn't do, and it was one of those moments I'm like crying, and the only thing I wanted to do was hold my child, like, you know. And he doesn't know what's going on. He just, hey, Dad, like, you know, like talking to me normal, but not knowing my whole left side. And, you know, it's going numb, can't move it, can't feel it, and my face goes droopy and everything. So it's like he doesn't know what's going on. He just, hey, Dad, you know. But that scared me. It scared me the most, and it affected us in like, oh, when am I leaving my child? What am I doing? What, you know, what you know, what's gonna end up happening if I go? Who's taking care of you? Like, you know. So I made the mindset to make sure, like, you know, the mom is cool to be able to finish her school and without stress. Like, you know, granted, like I want to be pissed off at times, but it's like, nah, I need her to be able to do her thing, because if something happens to me,
you need to grow up and mature fast.
There you go. Yeah,
put that bullshit aside.
Exactly. Like, you know, like, hey, focus. But, you know, she's doing her thing. Like, you know, she's killing it. Yeah. So, so when, you know, she's done it, if something ever, you know, God forbid something does happen to me, that, you know, she's gonna be taken care of. And I already know my family will do the same thing. But it's still scary, as in something like that almost happened in front of my child, and I couldn't do anything about it. So I ended up going to the hospital. They break it down, you know, they're saying, I'm good, you're just stressing and stuff like that, you gotta relax. And I needed like that whole reverse, like basically a reverse card. We're playing Uno. I had to hit that reverse card, or, you know, pick up 4, whatever you call it.
In a stressful career though, like a stressful what is it, career choice?
No, you're definitely right. But at the end of the day, like, well, I know where most people end up feeling like it's stress right there, but in reality, when us fighters, like, when we fight, we're not stressed about that. It's the weight cuts. Like, let's like just it's weight cuts, and then adds into the factors in what's going on the outside of the life, where awkward shit happens at the wrong time in our life. Like, like, hey, we got to cut 10 pounds today, right? And out of nowhere, you get a phone call talking about, hey, your dog died. We don't want to hear that shit, or hey, the front yard is burning, or you can't. In matter of fact, it goes down to like the most smallest things. You can't find your keys. Boom, mind blown. Then you're cutting weight, and like that's the stress that ends up adding us. Yeah, that's the stress that we end up developing. But when we end up fighting, we all know what the sport we're in. Like, don't get me wrong, we're scared, but we love the adrenaline. Like, we love violence. Like the part, like you're able to turn it into art. Hey, there's a chance you might get knocked out, or there's a chance you could knock someone out. There's a chance that they might die, but we all we're gladiators, and we accept
them out first.
Yeah, it's just like that. So that's our mindset when it kind of comes to the stuff,
Yeah, no stress. Like, how much of a part did this thought play in your stress, as in the fact that your child might see his father in a moment of weakness or something like that? Because seeing my father, like seeing a father in a moment of weakness is crazy.
No,
think
it
about
is.
Those guys. That was my superhero, Like, I say he's alive. I say that's my superhero.
Yeah, you better have
as
to
a
say
kid, he was my
RIP.
superhero. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, definitely. But it's like we're gonna go in like the whole the Marvel DC type ordeal.
Yeah.
We have like Superman, right? Strongest man in the world, the planet or universe, how you want to place it, right? They gotta make it to the point that he's invincible. Right?
Yeah.
But the crazy part is he's not truly invisible, because he has a weakness. His weakness is kryptonite.
Yep.
Meaning, or magic, or how you end up floating into those directions, right? And this kind of like shines as in like that perfect dad that you want ain't really the perfect one. Like, he ends up showing as in what I'm showing you today. Like, hey, like, all right, like, most generation, I was talking about this earlier with Aaron Tuff, go ahead, So yeah, with the factors in, like, most fathers, like, they're meant to be like the head honcho. They got to be strong, and and it's like you end up seeing a lot of cultures where if the leader is weak or shows weakness, they're not the leader anymore. Like, hey, we gotta challenge it. Yeah. Like they do it like in the lion packs. Like, as soon as the king of the pride ends up showing weakness, they challenge. Mm-hmm. Like, even Black Panther. It's like Wakanda, when it's time like for a new king or whatnot, they end up challenging it. Hey, I challenge. It's challenge day. Like like, but yeah. So it's like little moments like that, and so they gotta end up being tough, especially from your kids and your family. If you're the head hold, as soon as you end up showing weakness, and that's something that ended up happening to me last year. I was showing weakness, and it showed, and I had to, and basically everything was going down. We'll call that like a negative streak. Like, we have a negative vibe that ends up entering, and it ended up growing, and it's like it's going to continue to grow until you start weeding it, cutting it out, or pushing it out, or wherever the case is. You got to clean up your room. It's like, how mold comes.
What are you someone who, like, because I have this sometimes, like, once everything starts going negative and going down and stuff, I'm like, let's finish this whole, that we call it drinking the full gallon of poison, I think, in Europe or something like that. I have to get it all out. I have to go all the way down to, like, start looking at it and go all the way up again. You know what I mean?
No, definitely do. Okay.
Yeah. See.
Okay.
We see each other.
Yeah. But definitely end up feeling that. I always, for me, I always sit there and say, it'd be like, it comes in threes, like, and I know like a lot of other people like follow that.
Threes.
Yeah, it's like one thing happens, you already prepared. I'm well prepared for that. All right, there's two more. All right, where's it coming at? And it's like, granted, like I'm already putting the negative energy there for the two negative things to happen, but it normally comes in threes, like,
Okay, kind of expect more to come, once they're
full
like,
fact.
okay.
And it's like a funny moment. So this is like the moments of the three of last week, right? I was sitting here getting ready to go to the DMV, right? I had to go to the DMV. So me and my brother have a trucking company called the Ewell's Trucking, LLC type of deal,
All right.
So I got the truck, I got everything, I got to go register it, and that's the whole thing, okay? I go down to go register it. So the pack first one, it's that I get there, they telling me that, all right, the truck, you're going to have to pay $7,000. So now for me to register, it's $7,000. This is a number that shouldn't even been on the table. It should have been added into my whole thing, or I should have had like a year, whatever the case is. But $7,000 in my face, and I'm like, $7K, goddamn, let me throw a damn pencil. All right, so. But the lady looking at me so sad, right? She looked at me sad, and I'm like, fuck. But I had to step back. So my bad. That was actually the number 2. Number 1, as we're sitting in the DMV, I'm already like irritated because I already know it's like I'm like windowed, fresh meat that don't know what shit's going on. My uncle passes. So RIP to my uncle, Anthony. So Anthony January. He ends up passing. The message I got, I'm next to my brother, and he tells me, and it was like, fuck. So now I'm like angry but wavy as in being sad. Like, because, this is like one of those immediate family members that we grew up with, type ordeal. We lived, it's my dad's, so my dad's like his cousin but his brother, and it's like, he basically raised them. Yeah, they grew up together, they raised, so I'm overthinking about his feelings.
It's the people you see the most frequently. It's like,
all the time. So it's like it's like his kids was basically raised with us, like our cousins and stuff like that. So it was like it hit sideways, and then I'm like, I'm different when it comes to like certain things. Like some people say I'm like an emotionalist type of person, but this one kind of like hit, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So as it hit me, my brother gets up and he walks away, and he leaves me with that and walks, and I know he's feeling it. I'm feeling it, and my dad's feeling it, and I know his brother's feeling it. It's like, it's going on to the list, and now it's like all the immediate family is like hitting me hard. And then I go up there, and she hits me with the 7K, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's number 2. That's negative number 2. And like, okay. I'm waiting for number 3, and then the lady's like sad about it, but she's trying to be nice, and it's like I can't be emotional in the situation, so I got to be tough. Like, this is that moment. You got to show that you're strong and type of deal. And I don't want to, but it's like, all right, I got to.
We bottle up.
So I have to like, tighten it up, and I'm like, all right. So she gives me that, and then like the other worst news was I had to go back to go get it weighed. There were like extra stuff that I had to end up doing on the truck before I was even able to even get it all registered, before I even paid. So. So it was off on that, and then I ended up talking to my lady now, which is amazing. She's like beautiful as hell. All right.
Hell yeah.
You feel me? Yeah, like she ended up hitting me with like nice little words, and the words like the little line like, hey, just worry about your fight now, and then when you get done, come back, then you worry about everything else.
Yeah.
That was the positives. Like it was after the 3, and then she hits me with that, and it was like the following day. Like I finished the whole day, and I was telling her like, hey, there's something, like I want to tell you, but I just don't want to give you anything negative, because it's been like really negative, and I've been like talking nothing negative to you. So let me just like bring it up to you the next day. She was hot at me the next day, like, that's something you got to talk to me, because I get it.
Yeah, it's what like we all need that like that person that support. Like I always say. I was just talking to a girl about this. I was like, what we need as men? Like, we just need, like, encouragement and, like, just a couple of compliments every once in a while. That's what keeps me happy.
I'm definitely with the compliments.
It just changes everything.
It tells your mindsets and lets you know that we're wanted. And
yeah. Like, it's like, because they get it. They get all the time. They get complimented all the time. Like,
every time.
Like, we just need, like, just a little bit. It does so much. I did this experiment recently, too, on a date. It was like... No, and I said that, a piece of information. Then I got a couple of compliments, and I'm like, shit, it changed my day. It changes your whole mindset sometimes. Cause I was going through it
does. It really does. And it's like, luckily the lady I'm with, like, she gives me, she, you're handsome, this and that. Like, like, even if I was like, I told her, I was like, if you're running game on me, don't stop. Like, keep on going. I want to hear it all. Like, go ahead, keep telling me. I need to hear it today.
I've been played too many times anyway already. I'm used to it by now. So.
Yeah, and it was funny too, because I think one chick that I was like dating ended up stopped talking to me because it was like, you don't give me compliments, and I give that woman compliments every day, and it's like, but she was just doing that reverse psychology type of deal, because it was like, I brought that up like, sometimes you should just tell them, like, how many times you tell me that you love, or that I look good, or that you want me, or whatever the case is, and then they register it, And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna use this as an argument next time. And then the next time it's like, well, you don't say I'm beautiful. And it's like, that's a lie. Check your phone.
Yeah.
You know, I just got done sending it to you. It's like, don't
You got
tell
all
me
these,
that.
like, yeah, I got IG, SMS, WhatsApp, all them, like,
All
you
the
know,
above.
different compliments on each one.
Yeah, it's like you
just go
can't tell
check
me that I
them.
don't
Yeah,
call you this.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you know, it's like I end up loving you.
That's
So
why you gotta keep receipts.
that's fact, full fact. But you know, I'm sorry, ladies, but sometimes you guys just even ignore that. Like, you know, nope, I don't believe it.
But it's like sometimes they just like it becomes too common or something. Like maybe it's like it's so frequent that it just like flies under the radar or like
Oh, that's
flies over
true.
their heads. You know.
And especially if they're mad, it's like I don't hear nothing. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, what do you mean? It's like, you know, weren't we arguing that day? Yeah, that's why I didn't hear it. Like, you know, like, oh, okay.
Circumstances, you know.
But you know, sometimes
But
you just
yeah.
gotta like, you know, tell them, grab her by the wrist or the waist, and pull her in close and say, look, I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
That's the advice. So, like that's
With the eyes, eye contact right there. Like, hold on, here's the camera. Yeah, I love you, girl. Like, you know, it's just like that. You got to make them feel good. Oh, this
I'm
my
with
man
it.
want me. Yeah, I do want you, girl. Every time I see you. God
You
damn it.
tell that to everybody. You say that to everybody. Like,
Yeah, they
I mean,
do. They always do
everybody
that.
I'm with,
Yeah, it's like
you
supposed
know,
to. God dang it.
like, I do. It's just the kind of guy I am.
You know, just take the
I
compliment.
mean,
I'm here
like,
with
I
you.
used to open the door for everybody. I open the door for everybody, and it's like you open the door from that bitch too. I'm like, yeah, everybody I'm with, I open the door for. Like, what? Why is that a problem? Like that sums up my dating life.
it's, like, it's a good
basically.
argument, man. I'm gonna give you an argument. I don't need you holding up the door for no bitch.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. All right.
So this is a new recent thing.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Your
yeah.
relationship.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
definitely.
obviously a very positive influence
Definitely a positive influence. And,
on
you
the
know,
mental
she's like,
side. Something you needed.
perfect on the mental side and ends up handing me like everything I need, like, you know, what I need to hear. And she, you know, and it's the best thing about it is I don't have to ask.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't have to bring it up. You know, it's like one of those things. And then, you know, I feel comfortable enough to just come to her when I need to end up talking about things, and especially even if I don't want to talk about it, she still get me to end up talking about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a good partner to have, because, you know, what you end up saying. Matter of fact, like, argument's sake, I just got done watching this movie. So look, it's spoiler alert, so do not go any further. And the movie is called Smile. All right, so I'm warning you right now. Don't go past this if you have not watched it or you plan on watching it. All right.
We had the disclaimer, you know. We had the
Disclaimer. All right, you know, so in this movie, there's this scene, right? Like the main character and main character's husband. Basically, kind of like put a bad name for us, but you know, it is what it is. But in as being like a fiance, not the husband yet, but you know, fiance on the situation, the girls start going crazy. It's one of those things like, hey, I'm seeing things, hey, I'm doing this and stuff like that. As a partner, argument's sake, as a partner, if this is the woman that you want to marry and this is the woman that you want to be with, and this is also on the other side, as in, hey, this is the guy you want to marry and this is the guy you want to be with, if they end up telling you that they overseeing awkward shit, I think you need to believe them. Like, you know, I think you need to be like, okay, you might be actually seeing something or something going on. Don't just go in the direction of, oh, you're crazy. Well, clearly everybody's crazy, you know. But if you have a partner that wakes up randomly or sweats at night and wakes up like awkwardly, oh shit, I'm scared, and you go ahead and say, what happened? Oh, I had a nightmare, and you just, oh, don't worry about it. That's not a good partner. That's one of those like, hey, you gotta grab your woman, hold them, or hey, grab your man, hold them. You know, guys like to be spooned too. You feel me?
I think like just the thing is we want to be wanted. Is what it is. Like we just need.
Yeah,
to,
definitely.
You need to use me.
Yeah, brother.
You know. And, like I want to be like, well, not used. What do you say? Like needed.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's part of our, I feel like our nature is like just the caretaker. I feel good if I've taken care of you. I feel more like a man if I've bought you something or like made you feel good. So that plays into it. I think.
Yeah, and you know, definitely, I feel the same
Those are
because it
things,
goes
you know.
both directions. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff for you, you do something. You know, it's like that give or take type of love and type of relationship. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, want to feel wanted and want to feel needed. A lot of these relationships where like the guys that end up basically cheating on their woman, it's based on stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm back at home and you're not doing the extra shit. Like, you know, I'm not, when I say extra shit, I'm talking like telling me that you love me, telling me that, hey, baby, let me show you something that's like super special, or it doesn't turn into the fact that you're expecting, you know, and that's like one of those like thing, like I frown upon like a lot of people that expect things, like, you know, like, hey, I walk in a room, you got to respect me, and it's like, no, you got to earn your respect. And now once you end up getting my respect, then we can be on the same page and we're cool, and now it'd be like, all right, I'll say what's up to you when you walk in type of deal, you know. But yeah, on the relationship, I feel like that left and right is give and take, and letting the other person know that they're wanted, and hey, you want to do things like you said, buy them something, like they don't expect you to buy. They just surprised with, oh shit, thank you for going to give me this, baby, thank you. And then next y'all have sex. Hey, that's perfect.
And they don't ask for shit on Valentine's Day because they're like, I buy your shit every day.
Yeah, it's like stuff like that. Like, that's right.
Valentine's Day is for dinners and that's it. For me, like, I really like. I mean, we always end up buying a gift anyway, but like, once your girl complains that you don't do anything for Valentine's Day, then you're doomed, I guess. Like that means you're not doing anything.
Yeah,
you need to get that's successful relationship. You need to get your girl to get to a point where she doesn't care about Valentine's Day.
Hey,
that's the one.
And that is a full fact. And now it's like here's like a key thing I always end up giving like advice like on certain relationships. When it comes to Valentine's and you don't know what the fuck to do, get a hotel, okay? Hey, just save up right now. You can end up saving up, like
shout out to New York.
You feel me? You get yourself a hotel. It could even go into like a scenery, like it doesn't matter. Like, hey, there's a beach or a lake, whatever the case. It could even be in the desert. Doesn't matter. It's the fact is in that you took her on a one-on-one thing where. It's not that much. You just go to Walmart, get yourself like, some chocolate and stuff like that, some flowers. You can end up going outside and grabbing a flower, just start picking the petals and start throwing it on the bed. But regardless of the situation, boom, that's special. It's romantic. They feel wanted because you did that. And, and then it's like, and that's just like if you're like low on the money or the fact is you just don't know what to do or whatever the case is. And if you do have money.
Any common man.
Common man. These days, it's like
we're here for the common man.
I'm giving you the facts of what you gotta do. It's like I end up enjoying like the Valentine's Day. Like, all right, I'm doing a hotel. We're gonna have sex tonight. God damn it.
Yeah, dude, but that's I mean,
and I'm a last. God damn it. Like, that's you gonna tell. I'm a last, baby. You can start a conversation with that. Like, baby, I'm going to last tonight. We're going rounds. I took the blue pill.
You can't be talking too much shit, like, because you never know. Sometimes like shit creeps up on you. Like,
that is true. Just take the blue pill. You feel me? Don't take the red one. Take the blue one. Just take the blue pill.
This is not even a brand deal. This isn't it. This ain't even a brand deal.
Yeah, just take the blue pill. Go and do your thing.
Who's offering me a blue pill the other day?
Someone's offering.
Someone I was like, can I have Tylenol or something? I know a headache's coming and I have a long night. They opened this pill box. I know who it is. I'm not gonna say it. Someone like people know.
The blue pill.
But there was like a box full of like all these pills, and one of them was a blue pill. And I thought, well, what is that? And they're like, no, that's a painkiller too. I'm like, I didn't trust it. I grabbed the pink one, like whatever it was. Maybe that's the estrogen one.
That's the one I know. I know this one.
I know this one. I'm not gonna mess with the other one. Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, long night on Fremont. You can't be walking around with a blue pill. Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. It's like, whatever, man. So anyway, so you go back to normal conversation. We got you got that support now,
definitely.
And I feel like you're getting everything in line now because you're like basically taking out the trash and like adding good things in there. You kind of figured that out about yourself and like
definitely.
What's the comeback gonna look like? Because we have a glimpse of it now, like kind of like.
And that's it's not the sad part because I was happy that hey it's short, easy check. It was there just for 7 seconds or 17 seconds, whatever the case. Got to meet people.
You didn't last in this one.
Yeah. Like,
that was
more for the experience.
That was no blue pill shit there.
Definitely no blue pill on that one. That was probably the red one. That was the red pill.
The red pill.
Hey. But yeah, no, but I had the chance to end up sitting with the company and stuff like that and, chopping it up and see what's like next and what's in the future and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So I end up enjoying the fact is that I know that they're the family type and they take care of their fighters and they care about their fighters. And like, hey, we'll keep you busy. All you got to do is constantly keep fighting. Hey, I can definitely do that. Like, so shout out to BYB, everybody that's on, part of the team. They did some awesome stuff and they put on a cool show up in South Carolina, and I know for a fact they're gonna end up building. But yeah, so
like BKFC people talk about all the time, but like BYB were the OGs, by the way. Like they were there before, so yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like I get how BKFC it's like big. Because I feel like it's the names that they grab. They grab like certain people, but
it's the marketing machine. It's like, how do you decide to do your marketing, or how do you decide to put your brand out exactly? And like, so that's a whole other conversation. Like the way they do things and the way they market things also ends up like burning their talent, I think. But
true,
that's a whole other conversation. That's all.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I end up understanding like they bring people, they lead people. It's stuff like, it's little things like that. But BYB, they keep you functioning, and it's like the right people. Like they have the backing now. It's just putting on things and they're doing that, and they got something like big coming up. They didn't want to tell nobody, but I wish they could tell me, But yeah, and I think the big thing is me fighting, baby. Like, but no,
giving you $1 million.
Yeah, like I'll take it. But no, they like I said, it's you have the right people, people there. And it's like, and I feel like I fit perfectly, and I could be that right person that can push the organization to whatever levels that they want to go. Like, if they feel like they're going to end up doing super stuff, I want to be part of that super stuff,
Yeah.
And if I'm able to help in any way, I'm gonna do it, brothers.
There's like there's a what's it called there's a way of doing things like they could be marketing in a way that it could actually be a smart way to get people like you with your career trajectory that will get more eyeballs on their organization too, without having to burn their their own talent, or or they can build the organization on you guys. So like, there's just different ways of doing things.
And I know they're gonna end up they're making that move to make it happen. So and I'm just like happy I'm part of it. So it's like, hey, I get to be part of something that's honestly growing. Like, picture me being part of this, and then boom, tomorrow they're at like over 3 million followers and stuff like that. And now they became the biggest
you're a founding
thing.
Father.
Yeah, I'm a family. I'm a family of that. Like you said, family father or part. I'm related in this relationship to the moment that if I ever ask for something, they're not gonna be like, oh no. They're gonna be like, hey, Dre, yeah, come on, let's go ahead. Like, heck, they're talking about like giving me announcing a spot or somewhere on the where I'm able to like talk on the mic and or not the podcast, but announcing on the side of the ring and everything.
The commentating.
Yeah, commentating. Like, I'm like, oh yeah. Like, they brought it up. Like, yeah, you got that natural. And they're making me feel great. I was like, yeah. I was like, go ahead, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it. I want to do it.
Didn't even get into now. Like, your acting ambitions. We talked about your acting ambitions. I remember, because you do a lot of it on social media. You're trying to you're building that brand. You're putting your skills out there, kind of like your acting skills a little bit. The comedy.
Yeah. Got to keep it.
That has another element to it. Like, when you think about like your career outside of fighting and also after fighting, like, what are you doing towards that now?
It's granted that it's like all TikTok, so shout out to TikTok.
Gives a platform.
Yeah, it's a platform. And when I'm like good, it's like you see what lands and what doesn't land, what's funny, and what draws people in. And it's like, I feel like I'm a very entertaining type of person.
Yeah.
People around me know that I'm like that crazy entertaining type of person. And it's like that moment, like, I want to build movies. I want to be part of movies. Like, I know the right people. It's just I got to make the steps to go in that direction, or, ask for that whole thing. Like, he's a director for The Walking Dead out here. It's my boy Marcus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, who I'm like staying with at this moment in Vegas. So he's cool peeps. He ended up telling me, like, Dre, just jump in an acting class, just to kind of see if you actually like it, and then follow through. And then granted that I already know that I do like it, I know I'm going to end up loving it, because the fact is that I want to build my own movies type of ordeal. And I have like 3 movies in mind, but a guaranteed 2. And it's like it's going to be an action one, and one's going to be like a funny
like
love one.
Romantic comedy,
yeah. It's like the Sarah Marshall, or Forgetting Sarah Marshall, one of my favorite movies.
That was a great, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was like literally one of my favorite movies, and I like going back to it, and it's like that probably correction, that's one of my favorite movies. I feel like it's my number 2. Demolition Man is number 1, and that's why I'm making it like in that order. I make an action movie, and then make a romantic, funny romantic movie.
Bastardizing Forgetting Sarah Marshall is not a bad idea, actually. Just change it up and be yourself. Like, be the instead of being the rock star British guy, you're the fighter, the black fighter. That's
there it is.
Yeah,
hey,
there we go.
Look,
That's the version of that. Let's work this together. I got the camera right here.
Cool. Hey, we can definitely. I like that.
It's not even a rip, because people are like, it's blatantly like, you name it something similar, so people aren't like, oh, he ripped it off. Like, yeah, obviously, like, I mean, I tried to rip the idea off.
Just a little switch,
they
but
do that all
we
the
can
time
do
with,
it.
like, I don't know.
They do it all the time.
I can't even think of any examples, but I just know they do.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say this. Like, how many versions of Superman and Batmans that we got out here? And it's like the same person. Yeah, it's like we got 13 Batmans, right? Yeah. Every one of them. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are good, like some of them just like tanked, and some of them is just like, all right, it's good enough, but ain't the Batman we know. Like, but they make so many damn Batmans over the same things. Like, we're getting tired of seeing the same, basically the same story rewritten over. It's like, let's go ahead with. You ain't lying. Yeah. You ain't lying.
But that's a cult thing. That's a whole other thing. I think it's. I don't know. So like, The last thing.
I felt
Dude,
that.
the Marvel cult's crazy.
Hey, I felt that.
But I like those. I like the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight. It keeps getting darker too. Like, what is it like? I don't know. How long we been going?
Oh, yeah.
But
we're good.
I was gonna ask the last thing. Also, with these, like, with you thinking about fighting. First of all, what's the game plan with your fight career now? Like you said, BYB. Is that what you're sticking with, or are you like, do you have freedom to go into different promotions, different sports, and?
They gave me the freedom. That's one thing why
Yeah.
I end up loving about BYB. It's like the matchmaker Mel. So shout out to Mel. He runs the he's a matchmaker for BYB, also the matchmaker for UNF.
Okay.
Or, up next.
Yeah.
Fighting everything.
I love those people there.
Yeah,
family-run promotion. Yeah.
So with them, so it's like they gave me that window. It's like I like on the contract, I got like a year to do everything, man. And 9 times out of 10, I'm probably gonna end up finishing it up in like March. Like it's just how I am. It's like if you're able to let me fight every week, I'll fight every week. Like
7 seconds a week.
yeah. It's like I end up doing it. Like So, but Mel, he ended up stating like, oh, I'll keep you busy. It's like BYB's built. It's a brand that's it's already known. Like you said, the Dong Juan of everything, and then and they're building, and so I'm about to be a part of that. And then at the same time, Mel has other things, like he ends up he's a matchmaker for other places and everything. So he already knows I'm a good fit. He already knows that I'm there to fight, and he knows that I'm exciting. So it's a win-win in my books.
Yeah. And
it's like at the end of the day, in this fighting career, is about who you know. If you know the right people, you are able to get pushed. Because at this moment, I'm in the function of building my brand. Like, hey, this is that thing. I got to restart back over. It's like a fresh start, and I'm starting off with a fresh start, like already 2-0. So let's keep it going. And bare knuckle to the cage, or even boxing or Muay Thai. Hey, baby, look, even like fighting a shark, I'm okay with that. I have pictures of me swimming with sharks.
I'm thinking of I started a fight promotion called the Shark Tank. Why not?
You see, look, there it is.
People fighting in a tank.
To drown.
And then if it goes too long, you add water slowly more.
Yeah, you
have to fight in water.
And I'm okay with that. Like,
Right.
even like I said, I want to jump in that karate combat. Like, that's like that's the
it,
conversation we talked about. I want to end up doing that.
Shit, let me message that guy now in a second, because I forgot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's like.
But he just
it's a good old mind. We could bring that up. I want to know, because I want to jump in that too. Like, let me know how I'm going to hit people in the neck.
No, that guy, because his friend, I told you, was the closest friend of him. He just got booked for a fight there, so I just saw that she sent it. And I'm like, shit, I didn't even message him. So
I felt that.
But see, that's it. It's who you know and everything. And that's why I was confident, like coming out here and like knowing that I'll move here. I'll take that risk, like soon, hopefully March, April. Because I'm
fingers crossed.
I can, fingers crossed. Because I'm like, if I want a job in the industry on the side, well, this would be my side thing. I guess the main job in the industry, like, it's like I know enough people, like I'm in it. I'm like 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, maybe, like I was just a fan, and now I'm in it, and I know all these people. They're my friends, and I work with them and everything. So you don't think back and reflect on that sometimes. And then recently, I've been trying to reflect more and be like, you know what, this is actually pretty crazy. And coming out here, I know I'll find something, and like it's who you know. So it's gonna be easier to find something. So
I was gonna say, because you landed in the right spot when you came out to LA, and then follows up suit in
the sequence
Vegas.
of it too, like and actually there's something personal, like personal things that led to me coincidentally making it that way, and that's why I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. And then shout out again to Aaron. We were like talking about it like the day before my weigh-in /fight. She was telling me that it's timing. At the end of the day, everything is timing.
It is timing,
you move, the way things constantly keep flowing. The right time, it's when the timing comes. Like, like you'll end up knowing. And just like I stated, like you did the right smart move in my eyes as when you came out here into LA and then moved it over here. It's like, you're basically connecting with the right people and you're landing.
Yeah, appreciate it, yeah. It was like... California is where I know more people, and then here is where the fight capital is, and I knew I don't know, it was like, it's a long story, but that's true. It's timing, and now with branding, you mentioned branding, and we talked about the fighting thing. Is it at this stage where you think does the outside of the and the post-fight career stress you out more? Now, is it something you focus on more? No, I wouldn't say stress you out, but like focus. Is that where your focus goes more now?
Definitely, and you can end
up. So you use your fighting to like facilitate that, kind of.
Yeah, it's one of those like little basically like one of those like flows of how you got to end up seeing it. It's like what you're good at is what you're going to be able to honestly market, right? Like say for argument's sake, I am a chef. I can't tell you that I'm the best chef if you never ate my food. Like, you know, or so at the end of the day, I'm just talking until you try my food, you know, and it could end up being like the best person that made the goddamn omelet or a, you know, steak or how you end up. Like, there's a guy in Vegas right now that out here that does super steaks. It's just the way that he cuts the steaks. I don't know if he's really good at cooking it.
Was that the Salt Bay guy?
You know, yeah, when
he's in Dubai too,
and he like slaps it, and then
that guy, the Salt Bay guy, dude, he grew his shit over a meme, and now he has like restaurants all over the place. He has the gold plated ones. Who did I know? I know an athlete who ate there, and he's like, it's not even that good, but it's like a great experience. You know?
And see, and
he
that's
puts
exactly
it on a
what
sword
it is.
And you eat off of it, and he films it. And,
but now here's the kicker. Here's the kicker about it. Has anybody ever heard this man talk?
No, that's true. He doesn't speak English.
I
know he has like 11, 12 kids, something crazy like that.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But like the crazy part, you never heard him talk. So he never ends up bringing that he's the best. You know, he's the best chef in the world. You don't hear things like that.
He didn't claim that it's just
nothing.
That's true,
just
actually.
people were just jumping on it, and that's
assume.
branding. Like, you know, that's the part of how we push it.
Because I think they jump on it. They assume it's great because all the celebrities and the biggest names go there, like Leonardo DiCaprio and all these people go there.
Yeah, that's a full fact. And it's like they speak for him, and so you know he comes out, you know, he over here sunglasses at dark, you know.
Like, and how crazy is it that like the most famous people in the world go there and they want to meet him?
Yeah, and it's true.
That's crazy.
That is true. And it's like, we ain't even here for the food. I don't even want a steak.
Yeah.
Give me a lobster. But it's
imagine
like,
every single celebrity ever that comes to Vegas or something and wants to meet you. Like
that is true. That would be
how
cool.
did they do that? Like,
and that is the goal. That's like one of my goals. Like, you know, I want to be like a Dwayne Johnson, aka they used to say I was just like part of his stunt devil. You feel me? Yeah. Me and him was like I was his lookalike. But but yeah, you know,
it'll be like a brand.
You know, just the guy with all the neck tattoos and stuff. But no, like hands down, like that. I wanted to be like that whole Dwayne Johnson. Like I walk in, but it comes out as in branding. Like Rock came from, or Dwayne, he came. I'm gonna call him whatever. The Rock, aka Dwayne Johnson. He ended up coming from WWF, right?
Yeah.
Or football to WWF. How he ended up flipping the script for him.
Yeah.
That he was just somebody that people were drawn to. Like, you know, back then he was drawn to. Like, you know,
he was the most popular fighter.
He was the guy. He was that, right? And then he expanded it because he ended up doing like one movie that ended up like exploding, and then it kind of like, oh, okay, we'll try you again, and he did it, and then we'll try it again.
First he was typecast as the huge guy.
Big guy. There's a big guy, you know, and it's like when like people are only giving like justice on this one movie, but be cool, right? And
I mean,
that was a good clip, and like how he played it, and you know the whole nine. You know, it draws. And my favorite movie from him was Rundown. Rundown was the movie for me, and that's actually when I watched that was okay, I want to do movies. Like, you know, like I want to at least do a movie clip, something like not like that, like more of a Demolition Man. So people, that's Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. All right, so it's that. And that's like one of like my favorite movies, but then Rundown, it made me say, no, I could end up doing something like that where it'll be that, like, you know, that past type of ordeal, kind of like a, you know, Demolition, like it was like, kind of like more of like that RoboCop era type of ordeal, you know. But yeah, so, you know, it ended up like floating into that. But again, so going back to what we were talking about branding, he ended up branding the fact is that, hey, I can do this, because I remember in wrestling, they call it acting, and they made that, you know, in my eyes, it was real. Back then, when I was watching it, when he was fighting, it was real. So all that was real, and that was his, you know, his character. Like, you know, I'm Dwayne Johnson, but here, you call me The Rock. Like, you know, and he was pushing it, and then they got into the movie theaters. This is where we actually saw Dwayne, not The Rock.
And that's where
it was Dwayne, where
I guess kids were confused, probably. Like,
he's like, who is these people?
He's a character. He's a man playing a character who is playing another character. Like that's what it kind of like one of those confusing things.
He said, "Do you even know what you're talking about, man? You never go full crazy."
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there was Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah, I'm playing a dude dressed like a dude disguised as another dude. That's what The Rock was doing.
But yeah, it's like, you know, you end up catching it. It's like, and I feel like every time that he's not on film, it's the fact that we're seeing The Rock, and every time he is in the movies, we're seeing the Dwayne Johnson side. And then I know it's like, nah, how's that possible? But for him, he did
like intertwined, like the two, you know, like in a way, like he became himself. Like he didn't really become The Rock.
Yeah.
But at the same time, The Rock was Dwayne, and he managed to like mesh them somehow. That's the key.
And it's like, and that's like literally the argument. So it's like I'm always gonna be a big fan of him, the whole nine. But he was like the key guy of like, hey, this is how you can end up branding yourself as an end up, because he started the wrestling with only like I believe it was like $12 in his pocket. Don't quote me on that, but I know it was like he didn't have that, and it takes me back to my times. Like I didn't have that. I didn't even have $12 to be honest. I didn't have shit, and it's okay. I had to figure it out and build, but it goes back into the statement end up branding. Like obviously, me branding myself is my hands. My hands are going to end up putting me where I need to go. Granted, as in not just my hands, as in striking. So if it's bare knuckle, it's another platform that people that end up loving the grit and stuff like that is going to end up tuning in and becoming a fan, especially if they see me fight. Like because I'm there to put on a show.
Well, people are always shitting on they're like, oh, this fighter is getting this fight because of his social media or this and that. I'm like, I don't have a problem with it because it's sports entertainment. Any sport is entertainment, and that falls under the same category. So whatever entertains and draws the eyeballs, I don't care. I don't mind it. If you want to watch the best fight the best, it happens. So you can go watch that. Yeah. Don't watch that if you don't like it. I think branding is the most important thing. I mean, obviously, I'm in marketing and everything like that, and it's it's what runs the world now. It's social media, it's the clips you see, it's the quotes. So
and that's what sells. Like Conor McGregor, prime example. Like
everyone watches, whether they hate him or not, because they want to see him get beat or they want to see him win.
And then it goes back to that Floyd Mayweather as well. Exactly. Like do we want to see him win?
I switched on that because I used to be the guy that wanted to see him get beat, and then I started becoming the guy who wanted to see him win because of that. I don't know why, maybe because of my marketing, I admired it.
I know, yeah. And it normally comes down as like, oh, he's talking, because it's actually funny because there's like a little awkward switch because like someone has to be a good guy, someone has to be a bad guy. In the situation, the bad guy was it was Floyd versus Zab. Zab was the bad guy, and Floyd was the good guy on that one. But as soon as he won, he was doing his thing. Everybody's behind him. Everybody loved him.
Before for Zab, he was Pretty Boy Floyd still.
Oh yeah, he was Pretty Boy. At that time, he was Pretty Boy, but people loved him. He was like the new star. He was the guy. Everybody wants to be there, because
he got knocked down in that one.
No.
I mean, it didn't count as a knockdown, but
no.
Say that's the one.
Sorry, Floyd, you did get knocked down. In my eyes, you got knocked down on that. Yeah, definitely. And I felt like the fight was a lot closer than people say. Yeah. But and on top of that, should have got the DQ. But but anyways, the thing about it is he was the golden child and he was there. But now this is where everything flipped when he fought Oscar. So when he was getting ready to fight Oscar, everybody started calling him the bad guy, disliking him. He ain't this. People want to see him lose. So
Oscar was the
whole
guy.
nine. There you go. Yeah. And no one knows the back side of things, but that was what they were looking at. Floyd wins. World boos it. Oh my gosh, no. It's basically like, oh, our champion lost. It's like, because everybody looked up to Oscar, let's be real, but he lost. And so Floyd wins this. Now he became that bad guy. People want to see him lose. And, it was probably the side, we seen that, oh, he's starting to talk trash. But in reality, he's not talking trash. It's just saying he can't beat me. And people get mad at that. And they're like, no, he'll beat you. No, in reality, he proved it. He couldn't beat him. He won. Yeah. No matter how everybody feels, he lost. Oscar lost, and there it is. And that was when he became the bad guy. So now it's like I can see how everybody okay, I want you to be the loser. I want you to lose and stuff like that. But then now when he starts winning, especially it's one of those things you can't beat him. Like John Jones, you just can't beat him, and it's like they tried. They only best people that's beating them. It's like they'll say himself, and hey. Tomatoes, but at the end of the day,
he even tried beating himself, but that didn't work.
Yeah,
it was like when did he fight? Who did he fight on? While he said he was doing cocaine and partying and everything.
I forgot who he fought on now.
But he still won that one.
Yeah,
so he tried to beat himself. It didn't work.
That's what ends up coming. But you end up having those moments, you kind of end up have to understand it and see the flow of things.
Well, people just want to see. Drama, I think. So they want to see the come up because this young kid, they want to see him beat the more veteran guys and stuff. And then when they become the best guy undefeated, they want to see them lose because they're like, I want to see drama. I want to see this guy lose. It's it's the thrill. But that's the entertainment part of it. Yeah. Again, I think the entertainment part of it's why people want people to win in the beginning and then want them to lose when they make it, and they're hard to beat.
No, that's true.
And I mean, I have sometimes I like underdogs. So I
Damn.
often want underdogs to win, not just when I have money on them. Like this is like just in general. Like I like the underdog when I'm watching as a neutral.
Yeah, see, and I've always been an underdog, so it's like my mind's already set. I'm like, I came from the bottom, so it's like one of those. Only thing I can do is go up. Even when I fall down, hey, only thing I can do is get back up to go back up. You know,
So you're always chasing up.
always
that's
going
it.
up. Like, you know, no matter how you end up looking at it. So hey, it floats.
Well, man, good luck with that. I appreciate you
Appreciate
and
you.
everything. You know, this was a fun interview to do.
Hey, thank you. You know, it's always cool to catch up with you, Dick. Like
Yeah,
real
for
stuff,
sure.
bro.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
always having
Glad I met
fun.
you.
Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
We'll be chilling, but-
Okay, yeah, you know,
Cool.
but it just look like I'm leaving.